Recently, I was in a Discord call with two of my friends, and they mentioned voting for the Game Awards had opened. Now, I've been skeptical of Jeff Keighley's judgments ever since Doom Eternal was snuffed for Best Soundtrack, but I thought, what the heck, I'll check out the nominations. And as I was scrolling through, I was struck with a horrifying realization. I've barely played any of these games. Claire Obscure? Never touched the thing. Despelote? Oh fuck, I should probably look at how to pronounce that.
Despelote.
Despelote? I'm sure it's fine, but I've never heard of it. Moist Cur One Tickle? What kind of avant-garde shit is this? But that doesn't mean I haven't played any games this year. I've played quite a few actually, and some of them I even finished. So despite Jeff and his weird list of games, I thought I'd pick my own list. These are my favorite games that I played this year. Range from, yeah, this is pretty good, to this is actually peak video gaming and you need to drop everything to play it right now. This isn't going to be super in-depth, just a chill outlet to talk about some cool games I played this year. Think of it like a donkey video, but, well, look, it's different, okay? Peak isn't at the peak of this list, but that doesn't mean it isn't peak. The goal of the game is pretty straightforward. You climb to the top of a mountain to get rescued by a helicopter. You can do this by yourself or with a squadron of dead weight that you have to babysit the entire way, which is how I prefer to play. Playing by yourself is peaceful and a good way to waste time whilst listening to a podcast, but playing with friends is 100 times more funny.
Do you think you can make it?
Only one way to find out.
What the fudge? I completely missed it!
There's a sort of collective struggle that you get thrown into when playing this game that really makes it such a triumph when you overcome it. That sort of camaraderie makes you want to stick together and see the whole thing through. That and the ever-eternal terror of the Scoutmaster. Now, this might be a bit controversial, but I'm lumping Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories into the same spot. Yeah, sue me, why don't you? It's not because I think they're equally good or anything, no. It's because they are literally the exact same game. In both games, you go to the exact same worlds and play through the exact same stories in each of them. It's quite monotonous. The main difference between these games, however, is the combat. For KH1, you mindlessly mash the attack button until all the enemies on screen die. Use arrow to make yourself take less damage, and spam Kiraga to make yourself practically immortal. You can get through an astounding amount of this game by following this exact formula. It's quite monotonous. There are like 2, maybe 3 fights that really stand out to me in KH1, and the rest just sort of fizzle out of memory. Speaking of memories, Chain of Memories is where things actually get interesting. It's a card-based system where you gotta use quick maths to beat your enemies. You gotta make sure you don't run out of cards in crucial moments in the fight, making it really engaging and fun. Now, you might be thinking, Adrien, you clearly like Chain of Memories way more than Kingdom Hearts 1, so why did you put both on the list? Well, I played this game with a friend of mine who's very obsessed with the franchise, and we had a blast just riffing on these games the entire time. I think this is the best way to experience these games if you're not really invested in anime boys fighting Disney creatures for 60 plus hours.
How the Grinch stole Christmas? Gotta read that.
How do you steal a holiday?
Rock and stone! Rock and rollin' stone!
In a world full of tech oligarchy that rules through brutal monopolization and shady business practices, we as a society are often faced with a scary question. How are we supposed to feel good in participating in a system that teaches you to take whatever action possible, disregarding the well-being of people on the planet, just to survive in a world in which a small handful of billionaires dictate the course of society in the pursuit of the illusion of infinite growth? The answer?
Guns and beer, baby!
I played Deep Rock Galactic previously, but I only really got into it this year. It's not the most complex game ever, but it doesn't have to be. The real charm of this game is the connection you feel with your fellow dwarves as you mow down a colony of bugs so you can defile their natural habitat. There are 4 classes to choose from, and they each have an intricate part to play. From setting up platforms and sentry turrets, mobility and lights, diggy hole, and big gunman. It can get a bit freaky sometimes, but we don't have to tell management about that.
It's me, Mario!
I played a lot of 3D Mario games this year, and by that I mean all the ones that I had available to me, and the ones that are actually worth playing. Out of all of them though, none of them quite scratch the same itch as Mario 64 does. It's such a triumph in the Mario franchise, which holds up surprisingly well. It's not a long game if you know what you're doing, and that's one of my favorite aspects about it. You can go into a level, find a star in a matter of seconds and go, oh, I'll just grab that. and do it. There's a real sense of freedom and importance that Mario 64 has in its star collecting that the other games haven't really captured since, in my opinion. The movement is also insanely good for a game that came out in 1997. I've heard so many people complain about it, saying that the movement is clunky and hard to deal with. And to that I say, skill issue. You can really break this game if you're good enough with the movement, which provides the player with so much freedom and choice of how to approach levels. The other games are also really good, but I don't know, there's just a charm that this game has that the other ones just lack, which will always put it ahead of the others for me. The castle itself is so fun to just wander around and find little secrets in, and some of the levels have little quirks that change them entirely based on when or how you enter them. It's really fun. Rainbow Ride can fuck right off though. Fucking piece of shit. Life is Strange really took me by surprise when I played it. I was never really a fan of those telltale choose-your-own-path games because your choices never really had a lot of weight, often leading you to a different flavor of the same ending every time. Life is Strange still has some of those pitfalls, but also provides enough thought-provoking choices that really reflect the kind of person that you are. I really had to reach into my psyche for some of these decisions. It was awesome. The most interesting part of this game, and the part I kept forgetting about, is the time traveling mechanic. You're allowed to rewind time to solve puzzles, or, if you're a coward, redo decisions that you regret doing. Some of the choices you'll have to make in this game will floor you, so it's actually pretty cool that you get an option to see both sides of your decision before making a move. I had to think for a good few minutes for some of them, and the final decision left me stunned for a good while afterwards. This is another one of those games I played with my friends who were really obsessed with the franchise, and we had a great time. I would highly recommend playing games if your friends watching, or vice versa. It's a great way to experience new games whilst bonding with your friends over a shared interest. Now, if it were any other game, ravenously waiting 4 years for 2/7 of its story to release would make you look like an insane person. But for a game like Deltarune, I'd wait 40 years because that's just how good this shit is. If you haven't already, you need to play this shit. It has all the humor and character of Undertale, but like, more. I almost don't want to say anything about this game because I don't want to spoil any. I was really worried that they wouldn't be able to top the first 2 chapters, but Toby and the team do it, and they do it with style. The soundtrack is obviously amazing, and the little creatures are so fun. Ant Tenor is one of the most fun little fellas I've ever laid my eyes on. I want to just watch him do that little jig for the rest of my days. And chapter 4 is so ethereal and ends on such an oh moment that leaves you chomping at the bit for more. If you haven't been spoiled by the horrific fanbase that these games have, I would highly recommend playing Deltarune. And Undertale as well, though I'd be surprised if you haven't had the entire story spoiled already.
This has gone on long enough now. This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law.
The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles is a breath of fresh air from a series that can't seem to decide what it wants to be anymore. Ace Attorney will always hold a special place in my heart, but as of late, the mainline story has felt really disappointing for me. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles disregards all of that, presents a narrative that makes me remember why I fell in love with the series in the first place. Every single turnabout in this game is a banger. Not once did I feel cheated by some erroneous piece of anime logic or confused by some glitz and glamour game mechanic. It's pure mystery, pure evidence, and pure deduction to its thrilling conclusion. The characters are some of the best the series has had to offer so far. Ryunosuke Naruhodo is a peak defense attorney, embodying the spirit that the entire series has had up to this point, bringing an unabashed courage to defense that makes you pump your fist with enthusiasm. And the prosecutor? Oh, mama! Definitely my favorite in the entire series. Barrick Van Zieks follows the typical cunty piece of shit prosecutor format, but this time, there's a twist. He's racist. I won't go into too much detail because you need to play this game. All I'll say is, I wish I was that desk. The Great Ace Attorney embodies everything I want this series to be going forward, and I really hope they ride this momentum for the next game. Seriously, if they add another attorney to the Write Anything agency, I'm gonna fucking flip, dude. Now guys, I have a confession to make. Over the past few months, I've been trying to convince one man to play a game. His name is David, pictured here. I originally said this video was a list of games that were really good that I played this year, and to an extent, that's true. However, the real reason I've created this video is to relay one simple message. David, you need to play Off the Devil. This message really goes out to everyone, but David, you specifically need to play Off the Devil. If you love Ace Attorney, you need to play Off the Devil. If you love Danganronpa, you need to play Off the Devil. If you love Blade Runner, except for that weird rapey bit, you need to play Off the Devil. If you love good writing, oh my god, the writing in this game is actually phenomenal. The first episode sets up the themes and characters so perfectly it's actually insane. I'm confident in saying that it's my favorite first case in any murder mystery game I've played. And the second episode takes the setup from the first and sprints to the hills with it. Such fantastic world building and lore, and thought-provoking questions about the core of human nature and the perils of living in a world that humanity seems to be barreling itself towards. All to a soundtrack that accentuates that angst to a T. And the best part? This game is full of toxic women. The protagonist, Evangeline Morgan, is a criminal defense attorney who was born with a set of poisonous glands in her fangs. And the prosecutor? Mama. Such a unique take on a prosecutor. Emma Rockford teeters on the precipice of
What? I'm just a widow prosecutor. I'm ever so tired.
and your balls. Hand them over. Watching these two women spit absolute caustic venom at each other will never get old for me. And those two barely scratch the surface. This game is overflowing with more intriguing characters than you can shake a stick at. The only thing that's bad about this game is that it isn't fully released yet, but I don't even care. This game has me in its talons and I'm begging for more. You need to play this game. The first episode is free on Steam. Play it! Play it! Play it! So that was my list. Hopefully Jeff will reconsider his list now that I've laid out such compelling arguments, but I don't know how to send this video to him. Thanks for watching. Maybe I'll make another video like this next year. It'll give me an excuse to actually finish the games I'm playing. Or this is just a one-time thing, and that's good too. See ya, bye! Emma Rockford teeters on the precipice of... Okay. I have to do this now. I wrote this, I have to do it.
I'm just a widow prosecutor. I'm ever so tired. I'm just a widow prosecutor.
Oh god.